Hopefully you've looked at my first tutorial on ADAS, the intro tutorial. This is the next one, very short. We're just going to ask the question, why do we care about this stuff? Why do we care about shifting AD and AS curves? Here's our graph. Prices, real gross domestic product. And what this model is trying to explain and illustrate is growth in an economy or attrition or contraction in an economy. A growing economy, a shrinking economy. How do we illustrate that graphically? And what a graph does is it shows relationships between various things. So to start off with, we have the relationship here between the price level and the real gross domestic product. So when we draw the AD curve, every point along this curve, and I'm drawing points here, every point along this curve represents a different relationship. So at a price level of, we'll call that P4, price level of P4, we would have an output level, we'll call it Q, of Q4. At a price level of P3, we would have, just looking at the demand curve here, we'd have an output level of Q3 and so on. So just the AD curve here by itself shows a relationship between spending among consumers, businesses, government, and exports, between the spending of those four groups and the price level. The aggregate supply curve shows the relationship between businesses or firms deciding to produce more stuff or less stuff, and the price level. How does the price level influence their thinking? Okay, so that's what this graph is illustrating to start off with. Now we're going to introduce the idea of shifting curves. So what is a shifting curve showing? Let's think about something that just impacts everybody, something from the outside, an outside influence, a variable that has changed. So let's say that consumers are much more optimistic in general about the future. And so consumers are out there spending more. And our AD curve now is going to shift out because of that. So we've got AD1 there, and now we've got our new curve, which is the AD curve that has shifted to the right. So this is clearly an expanding economy. The AD curve has shifted out to the right. The economy has expanded. We're producing more goods and services at every possible price level. And the AS curve here has not changed, because we'll say that this one variable has changed, is only influencing aggregate demand, nothing else. And now our new equilibrium output level here, we'll call that Q2. So now we've got a new relationship here. We had the relationship first between the price level and real gross domestic product, and now we have another variable, a third variable, which is, we throw that into the mix, and that's changing everything. So now we have a new relationship between price level and output. We have more output at every possible price level. So if we keep the price level unchanged and we see more consumer optimism, then we're going to see greater output. All right, so the next section is going to cover what are the different variables that can shift the AD and AS curves. But first I wanted to show you why we even care about that, and in the broader context in which we're going to be looking at those variables. So, whoa, what the heck?